as well. Okay.
Well, do you want to start
Recap.
main event, or do you want to start prelim?
Let's start main event. Let's recap the main event first. So, go on. You start with your take on Robert and Darren.
Yeah, because I think we have different opinions on this.
Yeah, let's start right at the top. Let's start with the cherry.
So obviously I wanted. It would have been nice for Darren to win, being an English guy, But at the same time, going into it, I expected Robert to win because he has been such a dominant champion before, and I still see him like that. He did lose to Izzy, but you have to remember his 2 wins over Romero, and every time I've seen him fight, he just looks incredible. Like he is a smart fighter. So I sort of expected him to win this fight. Yes, it was very technical. And the reason why I don't feel as enthusiastic about Darren Till is because unfortunately all of his fights are doing this. And he is very, very, what he's doing is very impressive because he sort of nullifies whoever he fights, whether he's fighting Gastelum, whether he's fighting Whittaker or whoever he was. Thompson. Thompson was the first
round against Woodley. They didn't touch each other.
Yeah, so Darren Till is so technical that he's doing the smart thing, but I don't think he's being active enough, and he's not scoring enough, and he ends up not throwing enough punches, not landing enough. He's got a good takedown defense. He's got a great left, and I've seen him use that left elbow several times. That left elbow is amazing. I think that was best move of the fight. But unfortunately,
when he dropped him.
Yeah, he doesn't push enough. So he sort of reads, but he's too slow. And he needs to think of how to take all that reading in and then push more, because he's trying to counter too much and not always successful. So then you end up not scoring as much, whilst Robert is just racking up points. And if you look at the strikes for each round, Robert smashed it. And I wouldn't say that it looks that way. When you're watching the fight, it looks very even, but Till's just not active enough, and he's taking too long to decide. And unfortunately, that has now making me re-look at Darren. Where before I saw him coming up, I thought this is exciting, this is cool. But in more recent fights, like those 3 that, to mention, he's just he's not doing enough. And I'm not as enthusiastic about him going forward. I want to see him do more. Good for Robert. Definitely a very technical fight, what he did. But I don't really have much to say on the fight. It wasn't that, in my opinion, very exciting because of the situation. Although I do admire the technical abilities of both. I think that was incredibly impressive. I
thought rounds 1 and 2 and 5 were very, very fun to watch. Round 3 and 4, they kind of both took their foot off the pedal because one mistake from either of them and they're dead. Yeah, Darren goes too aggressive. Killers. He knows Whittaker can crack. And then obviously Whittaker showed him so much more respect than he showed Izzy. Yeah. Because he tried to bull rush Izzy and got cleaned out. If he tried to do this, he tried to do it with Darren. He got elbowed and he got dropped. And credit to him for the second round, he came back and he smashed him on the ground for a bit. Held him there.
Well, but second round was all Robert.
That was all Robert. That was all Robert. I made an argument on Twitter about how you could. I don't agree with my own argument. It was just playing devil's advocate. Yeah. You can score the fight for Till 3-2. I scored it 3-2 Robert. Anyone that's saying 4-1 Robert, go fuck off. It's 3-2. Because Darren won the first round, 100%.
Yes, that's Darren's round.
The second round is 100% Rob's.
Yeah.
The third round is 100% Rob's. And then you have a case for 4 and 5. Now, one of the judges scored the 4th round for Darren, and the other 2 scored it for Rob. Okay. Or the other way around. 2 scored it for Darren, 1 scored it for Rob. And then the 5th, it was the other way around. The guy that scored it for Darren then scored it for Rob, and the other 2. I scored the 5th round for Darren. So that would mean Darren wins.
Yeah.
If he won the 4th, but I scored most people thought he won the 4th. I think Robert won the 4th. I scored the 5th round was very stalemate until Darren hit him with an elbow.
Yeah, it was.
And it split him open. Now, the scoring criteria is damage done. is like his significant strikes. That was the most significant strike, other than the elbow. I think Darren hit him with harder shots.
Significant strikes,
both thrown by Darren Till.
Yeah, first and fifth.
Exactly. I don't think those takedowns, which I do think won Robert the round, should count for shit, because you didn't even hold him for more than 2 seconds. He bounced straight back up. So how do you not credit Darren for that? He only got taken down. It was 3 takedowns out of like 9 or something was the statistics, but 2 of them shouldn't even be counted as takedowns, to be fair. He'd like put his bum on the floor and bounced up again. It's like a pogo stick. Whereas in the second round, he held him there for minutes. That's what I mean. So you'd have to give it to Darren, who, if you think of the memorable thing from each round, that's the way I'm looking at it. And then I try to make the argument that Darren actually could have won that fight. A few journalists were saying, you're talking out your ass kind of thing. Like anyone that's saying Darren Till could have won that fight because of the output of Robert. But I'm thinking on the statistics afterwards, they didn't even score Darren a knockdown. They didn't even write he not got a knockdown on the statistics
from the first round.
afterwards.
Didn't give him.
Yeah. Apparently, that's not a knockdown. A giant elbow to the face. A flat.
He sort of elbowed him as he came in, which we've seen Darren do before. And then it was sort of a push down. It wasn't really. I don't feel
he
like
knocked
that
him
elbow
down.
took it. But I feel like the elbow, and then there was a massive clash. Like the way that Robert hit into him, his arms almost wrapped around him. Like there was a big clash, and then Darren just sort of pushed him off and like threw him to the ground, and Robert was almost stunned. He just sort of looked up like, what?
He was it was a flash knockdown. That's you say, like in boxing, they take the knee.
Didn't know what hit him. Yeah, he didn't know what hit him, so it hurt.
And then I want to go on to the 1 out of 3 points real quick on Herb Dean's fuck ups of the night, because he had a stinker. He did have a stinker, even if you disagree with the one major fight, which we'll get onto. 30 seconds before the end, Darren gets poked in the fucking eye by Robert. And he says, no, carry on. And Herb stops it for 10 seconds going, are you okay? And Darren's like, fine. Because he's got the momentum. He's got the momentum and he wants to keep going. And he's still like this for another 20 seconds.
He's blinking it out.
That's what I mean. Herb stopped the complete flow of that and allowed Robert to get his like zen back, almost focus again, because he was getting jabbed.
He just had his head cracked.
Exactly. My point is just why are you stopping it? The fighter said continue, and he's like, no, it's like he's got ego there. He's like, no, I'll decide if we're stopping or not. And it was so unnecessary. And I felt like Darren was like just getting his cardio, man. You can't as well. I'm not impressed with his cardio.
With whose cardio? With Darren?
Hill's, because of how he looked at 170, his cardio didn't look all that. It looked like he slowed down a lot all the time, and now he's filled out. Bear in mind, second fight at middleweight, so his body's going to adapt. Rob looked thick. He's impressive in his shape. His arms were just ridiculous. It's the best shape I've ever seen Robert Whittaker in. Whereas this is his 7th or 8th fight at middleweight now, something like that. Whereas Darren, second. And one was against Gastelum, one against the former champ. Robert Whittaker is the best in this division other than Israel.
He's only lost the one to Izzy.
At middleweight.
So, yeah.
That's it. Darren, you could put up a fight, beat him. I think he did. I still think Robert won. But
yeah. So Darren is very equal to the 2 fights he's had. It was very equal with Gastelum, and it was very equal with Whittaker. I don't think he's stand out enough. He's not doing enough.
I agree with what you said 100%. Just throw more.
Do more.
He's reading more leg kicks. Why did he stop leg kicks? The leg kicks were so good by Rob. Yeah. He smashed his knee up. He needs surgery now on his knee, apparently. His knee popped in the first round or second round.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, Colin Heron kept saying to Darren, I need you to bounce more. And Darren said, I can't, my knee's fucked. So he did 3 rounds on a fucked knee as well. Yeah. It was impressive.
Darren just needs to move first. That's what he needs to do. He's got to be first.
He makes everyone play violent chess almost. And he's not... Like, I can see him beating a lot of this division, but I can also see them catching him as well, because he moves back. It's just the same style. It's just feint. And then it's left.
His head movement, his in and out is really good. Like, all of that, especially that bendy spine that he's got with that real swinging back.
Oh, that matrix. He's so comfortable with range, isn't he?
Yeah, he's really good at that. maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe now that he's moved up in weight, he realizes he's in a division with the likes of Whittaker, Romero, Israel Adesanya. These people that are much bigger than people he was fighting before. Maybe now he's being too cautious. He's fighting really well. He just isn't being first.
Just needs that. Yeah. Just needs that.
Yeah.
But he's
and hopefully
gives him a headache. He gives everybody a headache when they fight him.
Yeah. It's like, I've been concentrating really hard for 25 minutes. Just like,
Robert was like, I hated that fight. It's a pain in the ass. Even Stephen Thompson said that. And then Israel put a nice tweet out saying, I love Darren, stand up, we will fight one day. So that's nice to see. I think they would make it a better... Yeah, Darren said that would be an easier fight for him because Robert is an MMA special. You know what I mean? Izzy's not taking him down. Izzy's not going to... It would literally... Darren had to think about the takedown. He had to think about all different things there, the clinch game. Israel and Darren would just kickbox. They will just kickbox each other.
Yeah. But Izzy's distance control and his variability, you don't know what's coming next. And that's actually what was good about Robert, is that you didn't know what was happening. He didn't telegraph anything. Punches were just bang, just popping out.
Yeah.
Like, there was no loading up. It was impressive from Robert, and I think that was giving Darren problems, which is why he was being
definitely giving him problems for sure. The first move of the fight, Darren like took 2 steps in, trying to rush him, and he just got jabbed in the face.
Three times he got jabbed in the face before he could do anything.
Shut that down, didn't he? Yeah, Robert.
It was just like,
it was beautiful by Robert. He was good. So he got the scorecards, but I still think Darren is right. He won that fight in his mind. Like, everyone knows how good he is now.
He thinks. Everyone thinks, but he was. If you go back to stats and things, and watching the fight, I really was like, he's just not doing enough. Like,
that's what I felt.
You can't win a fight with 2 significant strikes. It's got to be more than that.
Yeah, I'm with you. You can't ignore the leg kicks or the pressure, the takedown, even though it was So fair play, Robert the Reaper. Yeah, now who does he fight next? Does he go straight back to Israel? Or
not yet.
No, so he's going to have a number 1 contender fight. So he's got to fight who? Jared Cannonier?
I would love that fight.
The Killer Gorilla?
The
Killer Gorilla.
Cannonier is so
dark
impressive.
Horse. He's the dark horse.
Yeah, so impressive.
I love that guy. And nice. He's really nice. Even though he looks terrifying. He's so scary.
I've enjoyed watching all of his fights since he's changed division again.
Too.
Because that's the other thing. He's come down a lot.
Heavyweight, light heavyweight, now middleweight. Yeah. It's like the reverse Anthony Rumble Johnson. He'll be a welterweight next.
So, it would be cool to. Where does he rank currently, Cannonier?
3rd, I think.
Then that makes sense. Do you do Costa, Adesanya?
Because he just beat Jack Hermanson. So Hermanson just beat Gastelum. So I think Gastelum should go on a diet and go back down to welterweight. But he's just a fat welterweight, isn't he? But you could do Till, Hermanson, and Cannonier, Robert.
Yeah, because Till still belongs up there because he is. He just has to do more. But he does
second fight at middleweight though. That's.
Yeah,
and he's 27.
Whittaker,
Rob's
who is arguably the best.
A lot older. Yeah, he is. He is. He's a better mixed martial artist than Israel.
But we're talking currently because I think Israel Adesanya is going to stay there for a long time as well. I do not think no one's knocking him off that throne for a while.
We'll make a video on him versus Costa then. What do you think will happen?
Destroy him.
I think.
Okay. But we can get to that. So, where do you want to go with this card now? You want to go to?
I know. I told you so. I want to go for an I told you so.
Go on.
Tom Aspinall.
Yeah.
Tom Aspinall.
Okay.
Young Frank Mir.
Frank Mir Jr.
Frank Mir Jr. Mate. Oh. Yes. He beat up a blown up fat middleweight.
That's my
Not
point.
Jake Collier. But the people he beat in Cage Warriors were not fat. They were like highly rated European talent, and he took their heads off. The fact he moved like a lightweight, he stepped back, hit him with a knee, stepped back again, and threw a 1-2. Everything hit.
But
he hit once on the ground.
There's a couple heavyweights now like this that are acting very light on their feet, no longer just the big, heavy, slow, big,
Derek Lewis,
big shots. That's not the case anymore. Now, another one on the card, which we'll get to, is Boza.
I like him.
There's guys. Yeah, I said.
You said him. Yeah, that's your. I told you so. yeah.
But talking about Aspinall, why I am impressed, but I'm not as impressed as I would be because of who he fought. He got exactly the finish that he should have got. If it went any longer, I'd have been like, really, Tom?
Yeah, debut fight, nice, easy, just to show you what he's got. 45
he needed
seconds.
To get this one out. Yeah, he needed to get this one out fast because the guy he was fighting didn't belong there. Just did not belong there. If Collier was able to hold in with Aspinall, I'd be like, really? Like, is Aspinall as good as I thought, or as you said as well? But because he got him out so quickly, it's like, okay, he is who we think he is, but he needs a bigger challenge because he was fighting basically a blown-up middleweight who hasn't had a fight.
No, he was so fat. Years. Jake was so fat. He had titties. He was bouncing those titties. Yeah,
and and he went for the knee, which he was trying to throw to the head, but he came in so close it hit him in the stomach. Then follow up with the 1-2, and I think he gave up. I think Collier, he turned around, dropped, and covered up.
He went, ow.
Yeah, he was like, I don't want to be hit by this guy again because it's his first fight at heavyweight. So just didn't belong in the cage with him. Just was.
What I like about Tom as well is if he goes to the ground, he's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu. His dad owns a jiu-jitsu gym. Yeah. So dude's got, he's the next like Fabricio. He's literally Frank Mir at the end of his career where Frank started liking boxing. But Frank obviously is, my opinion, the best heavyweight submission artist
should have stayed doing submissions. Yeah,
he should have. He was like, oh, I like this, and then he got clipped.
Go back.
Yeah.
So I thought that was awesome from Tom, but I think I need to see who he's up against next. Need to see. I mean, he did call somebody out.
Someone from the previous card, some Russian fella. I forgot his name. They've all got crazy long names. Yeah, he liked the look of him and said, I love him.
Yeah, so I want to see more of him because, 45 seconds is not enough to judge a fighter from. He looked great, but he needs a bigger challenge. That's what he needs.
Yeah, and he won 50 grand, which he started crying about as well.
He got
he won 50 grand for that and started crying when Darren told him he was like in the hotel and he was like, by the way, he got 50 grand, and Tom's like, what? And then he started crying. It's good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, he's got 3 kids as well, and he's 26, 27.
Yeah, he shouted them out straight at the
3 kids, man. Really. Who else we got? Who do we feel sorry for? Alex Gustafsson? You feel sorry for him?
I do feel sorry for Gustafsson.
The world wanted him to win.
Yeah, heavyweight debut. Obviously a favourite of everyone's at light heavyweight for a long time. And then, arguably could have been a light heavyweight champ.
Should have been.
And then to come in to heavyweight, obviously bigger expectations, but going up against Fabricio, tough fight, and he looked amazing. He committed to the takedown. He just jumped him and was holding on for dear life. Just wasn't going to let him go.
Yeah.
Alex was trying to get in those some ground and pounders. He was trying to escape with the hammer fist to the side of the head, doing well. I think that's what you should be doing as he was trying to get out, but Doom just did not let go and eventually got the back, and so case closed.
Armbar, easy. He's just
He
showed you a step-by-step way of how to do an armbar.
So smooth.
That guy, he has submitted everybody. Fabricio is so damn good, but he's 44 and he lost. He wasn't all there. I think he had a week training camp for the Olenek fight, so he wasn't even fit for it. He went in, just got beat. But he had a full 6-7 weeks, whatever it was, for this one. And he felt good. So, I think that's his last fight on his contract. That's his last fight.
And it was a good fight, which means that
but I don't know whether whether he wants to stay or whether he wants to go over to Bellator and probably win their championship. Yeah, he beat Ryan Bader, most likely. He's probably.
And then so what's next for Alex in the heavyweight division or light?
I think don't get too worn down about it. You just got caught. You're not hurt. You got caught in a submission. You didn't get punched at all. Nothing.
Yeah.
I think just get a quick turnaround, go again.
Yeah, he dealt more damage than Verdun did, obviously. But
everyone's been submitted by Verdun. Don't be down about it. Verdun he's a nice guy. He's one of the good guys. I'm not a massive fan of him. He annoys me, but he's don't be too down. If you're coming back, come back. Don't just be like, oh, I lost, so I give up again. So.
Yeah,
I think he'll be fine. I think just come back. Give him like a 10th place Give him Tom Aspinall. That literally Tom. Nice warm-up fight for Tom. Right.
Throwing him in the deep end.
That is the deep end. That's the only deep end.
So what about Shogun Lil Nog?
Lil Nog won that. I love Shogun to bits. Shogun is one of my favourites of all time, especially his Pride days. But Lil Nog won that fight. He won that fight.
Super close.
That was super close. And it's not robberies. It's not robberies. It's just...
No, it's not.
I didn't finish that and go, Shogun did enough. I think... Yes, the thing though is just no damage. Look at the face of him.
You're right. No, but in the last, especially at the end against the fence, he still managed to get him down again. And it's not necessarily about damage, but it's it's control. And several times he was taking him down and controlling him on the ground, which But it was split decision as well. It was. So
one of the judges thought Lil Nog had it, but even Lil Nog's not really mad about it, to be honest.
No, it was kind of sad because it was like his retirement fight.
And it was the trilogy, so now it's 3-0 Shogun.
Yeah.
3-0, 2005, 2015, and now 2020. And Shogun, was 23 when he fought him the first time, 22 years old. So.
I haven't seen the first fight, to be honest. So I don't know.
Listen out. Pride. Soccer kicks, mate.
Yeah.
It's like somersault stomps. Brilliant. Right. I think the main talking point of the last two UFCs is Khabib 2. Khabib 2.0. Khamzat Chimaev.
God.
He's the guy that has got the most stock out of Fight Island.
He was a minus 1,200 favourite.
Reese McKee got picked up like a toddler, walked across the cage, dumped on his head, and then gets smashed. And that's it. That's the whole fight.
I don't think he landed a single punch.
Didn't. In two fights, Khamzat Chimaev has taken 2 punches.
Yeah. No, 1 punch, right? In his last fight.
2 is the statistic. John Phillips hit him twice like that. He kind of just stroked his beard almost. I don't think he even got hit. That guy is insane. Absolutely incredible. I love him.
Both 6'2", and he picked up a 6'2" and carried him all the way across to his side of the octagon, dumped him in front of his team, and was just so focused in. And again, looked so happy and looked like he didn't have a scratch on him. Yeah. Like ready to go again.
This is how Kamaru Usman, take note of this fella. This is how you make wrestling fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't just hold him down, stomp on the feet. This is why it's called Khabib 2, because anyone with that beard is scary. People with those beards don't mess with. If I shave off this lip, I'm dangerous. So
you don't have enough there, I'm afraid. Sorry.
No, I don't.
Not going to work.
The Dagestani beard. But the fact that he was also coming down weight again. Last week he fought at middleweight, and then he was like, let's do this one at welterweight and just cut the weight. No problem. And then afterwards, Dan said to him, he was like, so how many belts do you want? 2, 3? And the guy's like, 2, 3, easy. He's going to be a champion. This is Khamzat Chimaev. 8 fights, 8 wins.
8-0.
8-0.
All finishes.
All finishes by ground and pound or submission. Dude is awesome. And if anyone disagrees, he's awesome. He's so good. It's Peter Sabota, Alex Oliveira. Alex, look.
Yeah, not really.
Again, I go back to the last podcast. Why is it on the main card? It was just Peter Sabota got lit up. Alex looked great, looked really good, but it's a very forgettable fight, unfortunately.
It was the distance, wasn't it? It was the control that Alex Oliveira just had so much more control of the fight. So that was it, really. Yeah.
Pretty much. There's not much to say on that fight. Not robbery as such, but Carla Esparza versus Marina Rodriguez. I think that the way I'm going to phrase it is Marina, if she didn't win it, she didn't lose it. That was a draw or her fight, based on the scoring criteria of the takedowns and the holding, because it was kind of like what Cejudo did to Demetrius. He took him down and held him, but he did 0 damage, whereas Demetrius did all the damage to that fight, which is why I scored that fight as a Demetrius win, which is why I scored this as a Marina win. She absolutely... Who did more... So, on the feet is Marina's world. On the ground is Carla's world. On the ground, did Carla do as much damage to Marina did standing to cut? That's why I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Carla was really good. She was really good at takedowns, and then she's very heavy on top, and she was able to just hold her down. But she's also, the height made a big difference because Rodriguez was able to push her away a lot. And then when she was trying to drop back in was when she was landing those elbows, which were cutting her open.
Good elbows,
so obviously
as well.
Really good. But then still amazing top pressure from Esparza because she stayed in there. She was, she wasn't being completely pushed away. It wasn't like she was being held in guard. If she wanted to get up, she could have, because Rodriguez would have wanted it on the feet. So she is very heavy on top. So she has got good control on the ground, but the punches that she was landing were literally taps. Like she was just.
That's the way I felt. I felt if the judges are scoring that as like a significant strike, I don't know how they do, but the judging wasn't so bad this card. Normally it's quite bad. I thought it was all right.
No, because I do agree that Esparza won. I do agree that it's just a shame because I know that if this wasn't in a cage, if this was on the street, for example, I'd be saying Esparza got lit up, even though she's on top. Doesn't mean you're winning, and I don't think necessarily that. Maybe there's something in the points criteria to be changed, but it won't. But being on top, landing those small punches shouldn't be worth as much as being on bottom landing elbows. Like Tony Ferguson is another person who's very comfortable on his back landing elbows and cutting up damage. And then how do you score those fights?
Bisping v GSP. Bisping landing elbows on the bottom, and he said the only reason he got up was because he knew the judges would look at it bad, even though he felt so comfortable hitting George. I feel like
I'm doing more damage here, but it's not being noticed because they're seeing somebody else on top. So it's difficult because of marking criteria. So also, could have gone to a draw.
Nothing wrong with a draw. They're not allowed to do draws, really. You get told off. But sometimes a fight is a draw. Sometimes they are dead even.
You then wouldn't know the rankings because currently in their division, there's a lot of people out. There's a lot of people not ready to take a title shot. And now maybe it pushes Esparza up, in that position because she was already ranked 6.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe maybe Rodriguez was 9, maybe.
Rodriguez was, coming into the top 10 pool. Yeah, she hasn't lost any stock though because
no,
that's so close.
It was a great fight, regardless. But then Esparza's eye at the end of that fight. I mean, even early in the fight.
It looked like someone shot a golf ball in that fight, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's bad. That's really bad. And then honourable mention as well, because it was a great submission, but there's not much to say. Paul Craig, triangle choking, Antigulov.
Yeah. Just a mistake on it, Antigulov's part.
Hey, he hits hard. He had the triangle, and you see Craig's face split the nose right open real fast, but why you would put yourself in a position to get triangled by the triangle master of Paul Craig?
He had his head in that position, and rather than getting out of it, he just took his arms off and was punching.
He was almost going to get. It's called dead orchard. You have your arms pinned forward, and then the triangle choke. It's Nathan Orchard.
He got his arm out and was landing, dropping bombs.
Yeah, I think he's from 10th Planet. Nathan Orchard created the move. The dead orchard. It's basically a double arm in triangle, and then squeeze and choke. So instead of one leg choking, and kind of. So instead of one leg cutting off one carotid artery and then the guy's arm doing the other one, and then you pull the head down. Instead, it's both arms and then your legs cut top. So using all your limbs and both their legs. It's horrid and it hurts everywhere in your head. Feels like your brain's going to burst out your skull. I've had it done to me a lot. It doesn't feel good. But yeah, so that was the main card, and I did pretty good on the old predictions.
Yeah, the old sweeps.
On the old predictions, not bad.
We did say though that despite a few of the fights on the main card, we were more excited for the prelim card in this case.
I loved the prelims.
Which did not disappoint. The prelim card was really good.
Who are you thinking?
So we start with Nathaniel Wood.
My man! The guy who put my bet on. Told you. Anyone that listened to me, you're welcome.
He looked like the Nathaniel Wood of Cage Warrior days because it wasn't about submissions anymore. It was about striking again, which is what he used to be, which was really impressive to see. Castaneda, he came out very fierce in the first 3 minutes of the first round, and I think there's an argument to even give him the first round. But at the end of it,
I did give him the first round.
3 minutes.
I did give him the first round. 3 minutes. 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 3
Yeah,
I was playing devil's advocate the whole way through.
I was as well. I try to watch things as unbiased as possible.
It's so difficult when I love these guys.
Yeah, so especially
difficult.
someone like
Nate Wood, who we've seen so many times live. Yeah.
It is very exciting every time to see him and Brad Pickett walk the cage.
Did you see his dad this time?
I did.
White mohawk with the tap. That's Nate's dad.
Yeah. I was paying more attention to his corner this time.
Yeah.
Just a really nice bit of work from Nathaniel Wood. It was really good to see.
It was really good. I'm so pleased he got back in the win column as well. So that makes him 4-1 in the UFC now, which is a good fucking record.
And he's had an opportunity within the UFC to show off his sharp boxing skills.
Yeah.
Which he didn't show so much before because it was all about he was getting submissions.
Exactly.
Which now proves to everyone in the bantamweight division that he is dangerous on the feet and on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. He can wrap up a dance or knock you out pretty much. So
I hope that they take their time though with Nathaniel Wood because I don't want to see him rushed too hard into being ranked. You know, I want
same as Darren did. Darren leapfrogged into the top 10 after he beat Cerrone. Then he fought Stephen Thompson. Then he got a title shot, and it was like, no, slow down.
Yeah, and he's just not ready.
He weren't ready. No. So I hope he has like 6-7 fights before they even consider him. Like even if he wins them all, just tune him up.
Yeah. I think that was in the days where they were very much looking for their next unicorn, the next Conor McGregor. They were very much looking for who's going to bring everybody else in. Because we had Rousey, we had McGregor, but there isn't anyone particularly stand out currently. You could argue Israel.
It's Israel now,
Yeah, that he is
and Jorge.
that person. And Jorge, of course. But he was around for a
they
very long time.
They got put on the cover of the game, didn't they? So.
Yeah, but they weren't rushed. Jorge wasn't rushed to the top, and neither was Izzy.
No, he just fought a lot. That's all it was. You can say he did it in 2 years, but he fought 5 times a year.
I fought four, 5 fights a year.
Mate, watch Khamzat Chimaev break that record. Fight 52 times a year every week.
Yeah. You could throw him into a tournament. He would go.
Is it weird? I just want to see him fight Kamaru Usman right now. I think he would beat him. I know he's fought nobody. Like he fought Reece McKee, who is for debut. He's from Cage Warriors. He's not the elite. He's not.
No.
He just picked him up like it was a toddler, as I said. But John Phillips, he's an elite fighter, kind of, but he's not UFC caliber. He's like 1-4 in the UFC now. So
it wouldn't be. I mean, he's been so dominant. Chimaev been in 2 fights so dominant that it would be good to now give him a ranked opponent, but not top 10. Throw him into the top 15,
top 15 maybe.
Yeah, and then and see how he does, and then
because he wants to be rushed as well. He wants title now. Like that's his.
If he gets someone in the top 15, smashes them in the first round as well, then you got to go top 10.
Yeah.
Like
we call that Maya. He's ranked 7. So it's like
too early.
But the only reason I think that's quite a smart call out is because I think Maya's on his last legs. He might only have 1 or 2 fights left, and you might not get another chance to show yourself against a true grappler. And does Maya care about the rankings? He's not going to make another title push. The rank to him, does it mean anything? Does he care if he goes backwards? It was quite a smart call out. It's not like hitting someone that's up and coming and trying to progress. No, he's not going to progress anymore. It's like 44, 40, whatever he is.
Yeah.
It's quite a smart move, in my opinion. But I don't know if they'll give him it.
I think that's still too soon. Like we say about Nathaniel Wood, just don't rush. Take your time. But
Nick Pete said a really good thing on the Fight Disciples podcast, where he said, you're going to get a phone call and you'll be like, hello? And we'll be like, hi, it's Sean Shelby. Oh, brilliant. Hi, Sean. How's it going? And then you go, oh, you got a fight for me? Oh, brilliant. Who is it? Khamzat. Oh, no, I hurt my foot. Oh, no. I'm injured. I'm injured that week. Yeah, so I can't do it. No one's going to want to fucking fight this motherfucker. No one's going to touch him. They're going to be like, nope.
Yeah, but there's going to be someone. There's always someone that thinks they're the cocky one that's going to stop the rising star.
They get smashed.
Yeah, then they get smashed. Yeah. All right. So besides
the surprise one,
Wood,
Jesse Ronson beating Dalby surprised the shit out of me.
That was a surprise.
He looks good. Jesse looked good though.
Dalby was way too aggressive. Yeah, he just like, slow down, man. Like, you could even see before he came out, when they were showing the locker room videos, he looked like he was dripping with sweat, and he was really, like, he looked so angry. And
it's like he wanted to prove a point, like, I'm going to smash this guy and just move up again.
Yeah.
And it just
didn't work out that way, unfortunately.
No.
And he got caught, and the punch he got caught with, it was timing and precision. It wasn't
straight
even
left,
a
wasn't it?
big shot. Yeah, it wasn't even a big shot. It sort of barely touched his chin, but it was just that perfect touch, and dropped him, and that was it, really.
Then down for the submission, got the rear naked in.
Yeah,
easy peasy for a kickboxer getting a rear naked. Lovely.
I did like Darby's new tattoos, though. There's his whole back, his shoulders, his arms.
It's pretty intense, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then the guy I'm going to claim is going to be in the title contention within 2 years. Big shout now, based on how good I just watched of him. Musvar Ivloev versus Mike Grundy. I had Mike Grundy winning that. Mike Grundy nearly killed him in the first round with that Darce choke.
That was amazing.
Any other person on in that division is out cold. For somehow Musvar was like he knew he was going out. He didn't care. So he used his legs to kick off Mike's hips, create space for a twist, snap his neck round, kind of like McGregor did with Chad Mendes, and just got out. And then after that, I think Mike was just so exhausted. He burnt everything he had into that Darce. And Musvar was saying, okay, you can wrestle. Because he's normally the wrestler. You can wrestle, Mike. I ain't going to touch wrestling now. Because I know that's a fucking competition. Bear in mind, every time Mike did take him down, he popped straight back up like it was nothing. He made it look easy.
He could barely get him down anyway. He could barely, like, he then spent, I think he got 4 takedowns in the entire fight, and he was spending all of his energy trying to get him down.
Yeah, he was like chasing that submission because he knew he was so close. He got carried away.
But unfortunately, because he got locked into that, and he just couldn't change his game plan. He's got stand-up as well. He's got boxing, and he
needs to focus more on that. Now he knows he can wrestle with the best. He can wrestle with anyone like Grundy. Stop training wrestling. Now train with Darren in hands. Or Tom.
Yeah, there wasn't a full enough arsenal there, and he didn't have enough tools in the box.
And he was exhausted. He was fucked into that second round. By the end of the third as well, after 15 minutes, I watched the fucking stomach of Ivloev. Wasn't even breathing heavy at all. Looked like Nate Diaz, just like nothing. He's and then give it 6 months or so, Mike Grundy will see how far Ivloev's come and go, okay, it wasn't that bad. I nearly finished that guy, and that guy's already in the top 5 or something like that. I really believe Ivloev is going to go all the way. There's a reason he's now 13-0. He's so good. The way he moved, he's not a kickboxer, and he had brilliant hands, absolutely superb. Like he cut open, he damaged Mike's cheekbone, didn't he? Broke that up.
He still, he did, yes, massive slit underneath because he caught it coming up underneath.
Yeah.
But he's undefeated as well. So yeah, for sure, I think he's going to be raising up through the. Is it light heavy? No. Is it lightweight?
I think that's lightweight. I think I can't remember. Yeah, I think it's lightweight. It's not featherweight.
It's either lightweight or featherweight. It's one of the two.
One of them.
Might be feather.
It confused me when it might be featherweight because that's apologies for that. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, so that was that were all my good fights anyway. I don't know what's next for Ivloev. I don't know who else is in the rank to round 15, to be honest.
So there's two other fights that I want to talk about. Obviously, Boza.
Another error by Herb.
Yeah, that was
a stupidly late
first
stoppage.
one of the night, right? Yeah.
He got him with a knuckle. He heard the knuckle go in to his head from Boza.
I think
beautiful.
Yeah, it was the left hook because Boza was amazing with his distance control. Like I think he had trouble in the first round finding the distance that he wanted to be able to get in there. But his in and out movement really good. His head movement really good.
The size difference was massive, wasn't it? Considering
even though like
three different weight classes.
Yeah, but he's still at the top end of a heavyweight division. The weigh-in. He's still at the top end. Yeah, he's still at the top end, but he just holds it differently. And his movement and everything is amazing. His reading was really good. He was able to read and counter consistently. which is what ended up winning in the fight in the end, because he managed to duck under that shot and bring up the left hook, pop him in the eye. And that was what led to the finish.
Yeah. Which was a silly finish. Caught him with the left, knuckle in. So
well, he sort of just...
Instantly turtles. Yeah, instantly turtles. He's like, I'm done. He then takes so many shots just up against the cage, and Herb's just standing there like, he's got a good haircut. That's a nice haircut, that. It's just watching him, he's going, I fucking give up. Mate, I curled up. From a standing position, a heavyweight to curl up against the fence. And that is he's too manly to say, tap, tap, I give up. They won't do it.
I think you just said it there, because in my mind, I was thinking, how much opportunity do you give a fighter and how much do you try to protect them?
He went down standing with his hands covered, preparing for an onslaught. It's done.
Yeah.
That's
there's
it.
instances,
what more do you need to see?
like Kamaru Colby stopped too soon. Colby was still in that. He did go down, but he was working his way to come back. Potentially stopped too soon. And then what you just said about if you go from standing fighter to down and covering that fast
against the cage, turning away, he wanted no more. If Herb stopped that, then Sarah's not going, hey, no, I was in that fight. He's not. He's going, fair play. I'm fucked.
You got me. Yeah.
I think he broke his orbital. I think that's what it was. So it just
would not be surprised to take a left hook from Boza to the eye socket.
He probably hit him like this, right in the.
But also, but it was a counter, and he ducked and threw his whole body weight up into that. So it's not even just a left. It's not even just a left hook, is it? He's throwing his weight into it, much like.
Cody.
It was just like that.
Against the sunset,
reading my mind
from the bottom up.
Yes.
Superman.
It wasn't as low, and it wasn't as stationary. It was in the flow, but that's what he did. He went down and brought that left hook straight back up into the eye socket. So I'm not surprised if he broke his orbital. Ouch.
So that we've mentioned now 2 Herb fuck ups. The 30-second eye poke from Darren Till. That was just stupid. Let him get on with it. There's no need to shove your ego into it. Well, if that's what it is. And bear in mind, I do like Herb. I do love Herb. But people saying he's the best in the business is not true anymore. He was about 5 years ago. But the amount of mistakes he does make, you can't ignore. These aren't I'm not just blaming Herb either. If any ref made these, I would have a go.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm not like, Herb doing this. It's not. It's any ref.
He's probably only got 5 or 6 mistakes that I can really point out. The Robbie Lawler against Ben Askren was unfortunate.
Again,
and I think that was sort of the beginning of this.
Yeah. So then the final one is based off of Francisco Trinaldo. Now I've made 2 YouTube videos on this, and one of them has done very well.
You've divided.
I've divided people 50-50 because my instant reaction was, I didn't have the television very loud. We're in England. It's like 3-4 a.m. when that fight's on. So I'm trying not to wake up my missus. So I've got the telly quite low. I can't really hear Dan screaming, stop the fight. And then when I turned it back up and rewound it, Paul Felder is also saying, stop the fight. Dan just got the brunt of it because he's louder.
Yeah.
Speaking as a Dan Hardy fanatic and trying not to be biased, Dan Hardy is a very zen man. To get him angry, according to all his friends as well, and his colleagues and everything, is seriously hard to do. I believe Herb fucked up, and that is a late stoppage. Jai Herbert got hit in equilibrium. It shut him down. He hit the deck, smacked his head on the ground, and he lands like it's this way round. So, and he's got one knee up, and the other leg is completely flat. You never defend yourself with a flat leg. I barely lay in bed with a flat leg. So he's like this, frozen in fear, and he's not there. His eyes are somewhere else. Herb sprints over. Everyone can see Herb sprints over. Everyone thinks that's it. As soon as you hit the deck, Trinaldo walks over, holds his arm like this over him, and goes, he's done. Jai's not moving. If he's defending himself, wouldn't he have got up? Wouldn't he have grabbed the leg? Wouldn't he have protected himself cleaner? Herb said in his defense, on his defensive video, that he was guarded. And that's what I saw. I'm giving a man every opportunity to defend themselves. I disagree with that, because just because your arms are like that does not mean you are defending yourself. Trinaldo is standing over you, and if you do not move, and Trinaldo is saying you're done, how is that? if someone was over you when he's done and he didn't move in a UFC fight, do you think that guy wants to continue? That he's out. Everyone can see his lights were gone when he got hit.
I haven't seen Herb's defense video.
Okay.
But
that's good because you're not biased then.
Yeah, and I also haven't yet watched your video.
That's
so
fine.
I'm completely unbiased. Sorry, not very supportive.
You're all good.
But I have watched the finish twice. I did go back and rewatch it because again, the first time I'm into the fight, I didn't hear Dan shouting. But the second time I heard it because I knew there was controversy over it, so I was like, okay, I'm going to check this out again. Also, when I watched it, I thought it was dodgy, but I thought the sportsmanship was great.
Thank you, Trinaldo.
Yeah, amazing.
Very, very good.
He had to punch him, and get another 4 hits in.
I said on my video 6, and then on my recapped video, I said it was 4. I made a mistake. Yeah. It was 4. Heat of the moment.
I haven't seen any of these other videos. I've only watched the fight and watched the finish twice. And from where Herb is standing, when he goes down and his eyes roll, I didn't see the eye roll the first time. I saw it the second time. Herb's not in a position to see that. Herb's not in a position to see where his eyes are. So he doesn't fully know if he's out on the feet or if he's just been knocked down. And then after that, the first time I watched it, I thought he was covering up. I didn't think he was frozen. Second time I watched it, I can see he's stiff.
You can see he's stiff as a board. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think there's argument to say it's perspective. And if you look at the perspective where Dan is, where Paul is...
with the monitor, everything.
Yeah, they can see the screens, and they also have their angle, which is pretty much completely level with the octagon. They can see straight across. So they've got 2 views already. Herb's view is really close, and he was stood around the wrong way to see the eyes falling down. Then when he came around, I think it's just difficult for him to see. Unfortunately, I do think him rushing in and then hesitating was a mistake. I think if he rushed, I think he should have, been slower to move, to like wait, let's see where this going, then stop the fight, or rush in, stop the fight. Don't rush in and stand still. And I think that the rushing in and standing still confused everybody, and everyone was like, is this, do I hit him again? And that was awkward. Which is why then you get
the Mortal Kombat approach,
the passion and everything coming out of people going, stop the fight. I understand that.
And now to play devil's advocate, sir.
Yeah.
As a Dan Hardy fan, he did the wrong thing for the right reasons. You do not shout out while commentating. It is extremely dangerous. And this is what Herb said. He said there are 2 people that can stop a fight. The physician, who knows more about the human body than he does, and the cornerman. They can stop it if Jai's corner. They could have stopped that fight. So Herb said he did not hear who said stop the fight, but he did hear it. He did not listen at that moment because he was concentrating. He then asked 2 people afterwards. He asked the physician, "Did you say stop the fight?" And they said, "No, it wasn't me." And he went over to the cornerman. They said, "No, it wasn't us." And then Dan marches over, angry as crap, where Paul Felder is also angry as crap, but Paul had a little more zen at that moment, to be fair to him, and try to reel Dan back in, like, no, you're commentating, you're working, don't hit him, don't get in a fight. And Dan, there's a famous picture, it's the thumbnail on both my videos of Dan he's pointing at Herb, they are face to face over a ledge, over the monitor, and he just says, "You do your job, I'm going to go do my job, you do yours," kind of thing. And he's like, "Do your job." It's not okay what Dan did, because if you think about what Herb said, it's no one's there. It's only professionals. He's commentating. He's there to do a job. You cannot be biased. He knows Jai Herbert. He's mates with Jai Herbert, which is why it's probably a bit more personal for him watching a friend get hurt. But Joe Rogan doesn't get personal when Brendan Schaub was getting mauled by Travis Brown, or when Donald Cerrone gets head kicked or knocked out or whatever. He doesn't put himself in that position to scream, no, not my friend. It's just you got to keep it tight. Professional. It was a snag of unprofessionalism in that moment, which hurts me to say really badly. But it was.
I will come to defend Dan again here in another rebuttal to play devil's advocate again. In that this was the first time Dan has been in an empty arena, where the volume is just so much quieter, and in previous experience, of them being in really big, busy, like, could have been in Vegas, could have been anywhere. Regardless, it's going to be a loud environment. If he shouted "stop the fight" in a loud environment, Herb wouldn't have heard him. And that happens a lot. You get people shouting and screaming. DC and Joe Rogan are shouting and screaming and stuff like, "Oh my God, well, Doug Rose," like all these things.
Yeah, they're telling people how to win. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. Yeah.
But my point is, in a loud environment, you can't hear them shouting, and in a loud environment, you wouldn't have heard Dan shouting. It's just unfortunate that currently there is no crowd.
Maybe he didn't expect Herb to hear it.
Yeah, I think it was just instant passion. I think it was literally just Dan is considering Jai Herbert. He's considering protecting him. Like, there's no need to take these extra shots. He's already out. And I think that was just a bit of an emotional response.
And for people saying that
we're still human.
Exactly. And for people that are saying that, it's MMA, it's a violent sport, you're going to take extra shots. You don't need to take extra shots. And the guy landed a 4-piece combination on a guy that was out cold. That's brain damage.
He was
dead.
Standing, dropping bombs. Those shots.
They weren't light. He was. Trinaldo got told finish him, Mortal Kombat style, and he dropped 4 bombs.
Yeah.
Like, Jai, if he hasn't got some form of, he's got mega concussion right now. Definitely, he didn't remember it afterwards. So it's real tough to debate it. But Paul Felder also said, after the fact anyway, he said, I don't care if there's 1 second to go and you see someone go stiff as a board, stop that fight. He said, that's it. You don't need to take the extra punishment. There's no need ever to take extra punishment if you don't need to. It's like the only reason Jorge Masvidal got 2 extra shots on Ben Askren was because the referee was sprinting for his life trying to get to him. Exactly. The Herb is standing on, like, Jai is under his legs. Look in his eyes and tell me, like, I don't know if it's just Herb who can't admit a mistake. I don't know. I don't think he's like that. I don't want to think like he's like that, but I got to defend that. People saying as well, like, Dan's going to lose his job over this. I don't think that's the case either. I think they'll both speak to each other and Herb will give his reasoning. Dan will say, look, I'm sorry I shouldn't have shouted or anything, but look, that's not okay, because he said there was, up until that point, he had already done the Passer fight with the knuckle by Drew. Was it Drew? Boza? Yeah.
Boza, yeah.
Is his first name Drew? Yeah.
I've just written down Boza. I can't even remember now.
Yeah.
Drew Boza.
So Boza and the late stoppage there where the guy's curled up. He thought that was a negative. He said, normally I can accept mistakes. If I make a mistake, I look daft on telly. If he makes a mistake, someone's life could be at risk. And that's the danger. Yes, it's their fault for getting into the cage almost, but he's the number one rule of a referee is to protect the fighter, nothing more. He did not protect Jai Herbert. He failed, ultimately failed. He endangered Jai Herbert. That's my case for it.
Yeah,
which it does split MMA crowd 50-50, because some people are like, oh, fuck off, Herbert's fine, his fighting is what it is, and the other half are going, Herb made a mistake, but no one's defending Dan's actions for calling out.
I think both of them made
they both made an error, but Herb's led to the reaction. Yeah. That's all the problem.
I think Herb didn't see Jai's eyes. Yeah, Herb didn't see Jai's eyes when he went down. He thought he was looking at something different. So you can't really,
I think if he watches the fight back, he'll go, he's not defending himself. Like, there's no way you can watch that fight and go, he's defending himself. Look, because you'd be like, you'd lose your referee license or whatever you have. If you said, if you're watching the television, zoomed in on his face and go, look, he's fine. Just to defend, just to like
rock it off.
Yeah, like, you've gone down the rabbit hole so far, you can't turn back almost. Like, he's not like that. He'll go, crap.
I think it was just Herb running in like that and then hesitating.
It must have confused the shit out of Trinaldo.
Oh, it's over. Trinaldo would have carried on, but yeah,
much like Henderson Bisping knocks him out cold, jumps on him for good measure, gives him a nice smack. That's all Trinaldo would have done. He just got in his guard and hit him or something. That's it. Maybe the hesitation.
To speak on Dan as well, though, Dan and Paul, those guys together are amazing. Like, they've been together before, but this was just this was different. The bromance between the two of them, listening to the jokes back and forth. I don't think I've laughed so much watching a UFC event.
Especially Mark Goddard's significant strike. Is that the one?
Yeah, the significant strike from Mark Goddard. I was laughing at that. That was good. There was a few things that I couldn't help.
That was good.
Those guys together are now as good for me as Rogue and DC, because I love those guys together as well.
And Anik DC as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes Joe's not in there.
Yeah, but I like the play-by-play. I
thought John Gooden did a really good job as well. The amount of stuff John Gooden has to read through the fights of like the sponsorship and all that stuff. He tried to squeeze that in everywhere, while Dan and Paul just wanted to chat shit. They just wanted to chat non-stop. They didn't. Every little gap, if you hear it,
they were talking about.
They were doing the play-by-play.
They were talking about everything.
Yeah, as soon as John got like half a second, he was like, "Oh, this is sponsored by." I feel bad for John, but I love John Gooden, but Johnny G's. You can hear the difference as well in the accents. You got the Northern English, and you got the.
Of course, yeah. And Felder doesn't understand half the things that they're saying.
Not at all. And then you got Bisping in there, who's just from Clitheroe. So you got Mank not in a Mank union. Then you got a Londoner. Got 3 Englishmen there now. Not bad, eh?
Yeah.
Not bad. Stealing the American limelight. I think that's all the important fights covered, isn't it? Or has he got one more?
Yeah, I just want to mention the Betche Correa and Pani Kianzad, because I thought that was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
Betche Correa looked fat in the legs.
Yes, she did.
A lot of junk in the trunk.
But unfortunately, she's just a brawler, and she was against someone who was so much more technical.
She got the knot though, didn't she, Betch? Did she Betch win? Or did she lose?
No.
I can't remember.
Betch lost.
Lost.
I think. I mean, she should have.
She should. No, I think
you got me questioning it now.
I think she did, yeah.
Yeah, and there was that dodgy 10-second clapper at the first round as well, which is worth noting. The clapper went, and she thought that was the end of the round. Yeah. She stopped, and Pani was just like, "It's not over." Just keep following up.
Let's go.
Oops. So I enjoyed that fight as well. But I think that's it.
That's good. Awesome. Well, that's it for the recap, and then we'll come back next few days and we'll release a preview for. We've got Derek Brunson versus Edmund Shabazian, who's the prodigy of Edmund Tarvagan, or however you pronounce it. Ronda Rousey's ex-coach, who's a bit of a weirdo. So Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown came from them. So Edmund's like the prodigal son almost of them.
Next.
He's like 21 years old. He's ranked 9th. Derek's 8th or 7th. If you get through Derek Brunson, you're decent. Derek's just a hard-hitting, fast-moving middleweight. He's got no ground game or anything. He's got some good lunch boxes on his arms. That's about it.
We'll cover that next time.
We'll cover that next time. Cool.
Nice
Peace.
Cool.